What's going on YouTube? V here. Today I'm showing you guys my Pendulum Magician deck profile. This deck profile had heavy influence from the actual Pendulum god, Jeremy Mitchell, and I really do like the way it works. I really do like the way this deck controls the board, and I always find with Pendulum Magicians the hardest part about the deck is not going first, but going second, having your opponent go and having the ability to still break and create a board, because that's what the deck's about. It's very much so about controlling the field. And I'm going to guys show you my main extra inside, and then we'll go over some of the reasons why some of the cards are in this deck. So the first card in the deck is going to be Wisdom My Magician. We play this card at 3. Next up is going to be 3 Black Fang Magician. Then after that is 3 Harmony Magicians. Of course, we're going to be running 3 of the Chronograph, as well as 3 Time Gazer Magician, 2 Oath Dragons, 2 Purple Poisons, and 1 Dragon Pit and 1 Yangtze Magician, 3 Mythical Beast Master Cerebus, 2 Mythical Beast Jackal, 3 Supreme King Darkworm, as well as the donuts he needs, 3 Mist Valley Apex Avian, 3 Ash Blossoms, 3 Pendulum Claw, 2 Paw Desires, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Dragon Shrine. Like I said, guys, I'll go over my reasons and choices for the cards after I show you everything. I just want to go over everything as much as possible. Up next for our extra deck, we have obviously Electronite, Lamphosaurus, Heavy Zephyr, Metatron, Borosaur Dragon, Abyss Dweller, Darkworm, Dark Rebellion, number 101 Honor Arc, Time Star Magician, Dorito, Odday's Absolute Dragon, Vortex Dragon, Dawn Dragster, Omega, Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, I can never say his name right, as well as Beezle. For our side deck, we're going to be going in with 3 Secret Vigil Spellcasters, 3 Red Reboots, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Dankoseka, and 3 Drone Lockbird. Alright, so let me go over the deck and why I made certain decisions for certain things. Obviously, Drone Lockbird is in here to stop the FTK decks that are running around. It's really good at shutting those decks down, and I really do like putting 3 of them in there. And when I play against an FTK, like let's say Slash Draw, I'm still going to keep the Ash Blossoms, but I want to put the Drone Lockbird in there because I want to have a better chance of seeing these cards. We also play another hand trap, which is Effect Veiler. It's another card that... Okay, so I had a chance to play either Infinite Permanence or Effect Veiler. The reason I decided to go Effect Veiler over Infinite Permanence is because I want Effect Veiler active. I want during my opponent's turn without the restriction of me having, to play having no cards on my field. Obviously, if you have Infinite Permanence, you really want to use it when you're going second and when your opponent's going first, so you have a chance of stopping their combo. But I feel like Effect Veiler can be used in both variations, whether it's first or second. I really do like that a lot, so that's the reason why I decided to put that in. We're also playing 3 Dankoseka as well as 3 Red Reboots, and that's because of Ultigeist or Strikers when we look at Danko by itself. But with Ultigeist, we can put both these in just so we can lock the back row of that deck down. The minute you lock the back row of that deck down, you're going to have a good chance of taking them out that turn. With Pendulum Magicians, and the reason why we can run cards like Draw as well, is because we just need to stun our opponent so we can have our turn to kill our opponent. We don't need many turns to do that. We don't need a setup turn or anything like that. If our opponent goes first and we can hit him with a hand trap and stun him, we take him out next turn. As well as the last card being Secret Vigil Spellcasters. Once again, I really like this card. Pendulum Magicians play a lot of Magicians. And yeah, it's pretty good when you have this nice good Magician setup with Magician lineup. And then you have Secret Vigil Spellcaster on board. It's another negate that's not really talked about. We see a lot of Pendulum Magician decks brag about 4 or 5 negates at best. But I feel like Secret Vigil Spellcaster is another negate. It's not really a negate in that term, but it's another negate in the sense of your opponent is stunned out of certain cards they can play. Limited amount of cards they can play, dealing with the other current negates you have on board. So that's why I like Secret Vigil Spellcasters. For my extra deck, I have Beezles, and I think this card went overlooked with a lot of Pendulum Magician players. It's a really good card, used against Thunder Dragons. I find like they have very limited outs. The only 2 outs the other dragons have, 2 Beezles or Beezle, whatever anyone's going to probably correct me in the chat. But the only the answer that Thunder Dragons have is Black BLS, to banish it, as well as Instant Fusion to have access to like Thousand Eyes Restrict. That's it. And, this deck, once again, can stop both those cards So if you could have a chance of putting multiple negates on board and then having a Beezle on the board, you're going to shut your opponent down really easily. Now I'm playing the other three Synchros. I feel like these are staple for Pendulum Magicians. If you're not playing against other dragons, this is a good card to limit the amount of cards your opponent has in hand. And if you limit the amount of cards you have in hand, with negates on board, it just makes the game a lot harder. Obviously, if you do go into mid-game state, this card can clean the field. And this card applies an extra negate, which is pretty awesome. Another good thing for having like Effect Villa as a tuner monster. It makes it a little bit easier to go into this guy. I feel the rest of the deck for the most part is the same. I added the Borosaur Dragon in. I would love to fit another Boro Dragon in there. Hopefully Boro Savage Dragon can't. We can make room, put him in here when it comes out in Savage Strike. Boro Load's another great option as well. For my other three Xyz is Time Star, number 101, Supreme King, Dragon, Dark Rebellion, Abyss Dweller. So I felt like these two are staples. I like this card. These two I felt like it kind of could switch out, and I do like these a lot, but if I had to choose which one to take out first, I would take out this and then this. So this might make room for the new Boro cards coming out, but right now they're really good for the current meta. Going into the main deck, I think everything's for the most part the same. I don't think not many things really are different other than the fact that most Pendulum Magician builds, this is a 42 card main deck by the way, most Pendulum Magician builds are playing 2 Pod Desires, and I just like one, three, I'm sorry, and I just like 2. I don't want to Pod Desires into a Pod Desires. You want to maintain as much consistency as possible. Even though we're running 3 Pendulum Core, if I open 2 of them, I could just pitch the other Pendulum Core to search out my monsters. Or I have like, if I have a Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm, I'll pitch him with a Pendulum Core and use the Pendulum Core, the other one for next turn. It's always a +1. And even though Pod Desires is in the same way, this directly gets me exactly what I need that I can search out, that I can choose to get. And that's why I play 3 of these over the 2 Desires. I don't like 3 Desires at 3 at all. I think it's a horrible choice for Pendulum Magicians in general. Another card that Jerry Mitchell also plays a lot and actually brought into the light was Mist Valley Apex Avian. This card's amazing in this deck. It really is. Opening this card and getting this card out as soon as possible really will help you control right through a hand trap. Right through an Ash Blossom, you can make this card. You can special summon Chronograph, activate its effect to pop or whatever, or special summon a Chronograph, activate its effect to special summon an Apex Avian. Your opponent most likely will not stop that because they want to stop your Electronite. And him with an Apex Avian with Ash Blossom really shuts your opponent down from bringing out Electronite and trying to use it against you. So that's why I like this a lot in this deck. And yeah. Another question I find with a lot of Pendulum Magician deck profiles that I've seen is they always go back and forth between both the Black Fang and the Purple Poison Magician. They're always back and forth in these cards. And in my opinion, I think they're both great cards. But I would run Purple Poison at 2, and the reason why is because it's not as good against other dragons as Black Fang is. Black Fang can promote combo, can promote play, where Purple Poison can really not do that. As well against other dragons, Black Fang can half an attack without doing anything forcing you to battle phase, in which Purple Poison makes you have to use its effect during the battle phase. Purple Poison is still a good card and has a lot of use and viability within the deck. I just feel that Black Fang is just better. Another thing I'm debating on as well is Zhangxi Magician and Dragon Pit Magician. So the thing about these 2 cards is I like Zhangxi way more than Dragon Pit. In fact, Dragon Pit, if it wasn't at 8 scale, I don't think it would be in this deck whatsoever. I think I would just play 2 Zhangxi Magicians. Now, we're not playing against a lot of light decks in this meta. We're really not. But Zhangxi having the ability to negate light during either player's turn makes it a lot more better. And I think I would rather play something that it can be an interruption during my opponent's turn, as well as a level 7, so I can link up with it to make to help bring out this guy, basically, with Allies Absolute Dragon. So I might in the future go double Zhangxi Magician over the Dragon Pit Magician. For my Rarity Horror friends out there, Starfire is the best one, by the way. So yeah, now looking at Dragon Pit, its effect really comes up, and I feel Zhangxi effect comes up a lot more. Also, Dragon Pit has 2700 defense, which is not as impressive anymore. Once again, Thunder Dragons can easily get over this. It's not impressive. And Zhangxi has 2500 attack, which makes it a little more aggressive, which I like a lot. I like having this deck be way more aggressive than what it is. Also, another thing some Yu-Gi-Oh players are debating on running, limiting down on the Cerberus and Jackal King. That's incorrect. You see, let's say you do Pod Desires and you do banish one of your Jackal Kings. You still want to have access to another Jackal King. The card's amazing during the Sky Striker matchup. It's really good. Not even against that matchup, but also against the Oldergeist matchup, which heavily relies on their monsters. Oldergeist's monsters and traps and strikers are spells and monsters. Both decks heavily rely on monsters, and I feel like Jackal King has a great matchup against them. In fact, if I was to play against strikers, I would want to bring this card as fast as possible in the field and leave it with 2 counters. What that does is it tells my my opponent that he now has to play using his card effects, his spell cards in their hand. And maybe they can do it, maybe they cannot do it, but they definitely can't use their monster effects. They can't have the recurability of Kagari when we have a Jackal King on board. And that's what I like about this deck a lot. I really do find this deck to be really cool because it can easily bring that out. Anyway, guys, that's my Pendulum deck profile. It's 42 cards main, and it runs really well, really consistent. I definitely recommend you guys, if you want to play Pendulums, try this build out. It's my favorite build of the deck. You can play a lot of little silly builds, but any variant, the more you add, the more cute things you add in Pendulum Magicians to do cute little combos to try to kill your opponent or control the board, the more available you are to hand traps. And that's why I think this is the best build, because this build, for the most part, is really good against getting around hand traps, really good against eating a hand trap and continuing its combo, because the main thing you want to do is promote negation on board. You want to constantly be able to put that threat on board. Obviously, you want to kill your opponent, and we have ways to do that, but promoting negation and promoting that combo of negation on board is most important for this deck. And if you're not doing that, if you're trying to do a cute little way to plus and go around adding more cards, you're just opening yourself up to hand traps, which can easily allow you to not only brick, but lose the game and lose control of the board you're trying to create. That's why this is the best build of Pendulum Magician, guys. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching my video. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the like button. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Are you going to be playing Pendulums? Even though this is the max rarity build, it's the highest rarity version, I do feel like Pendulum Magicians is not that expensive. You can put a lot of different cards in. If you don't have Ash Blossoms, you can put in Ghost Ogres or Effect Veils in the main. For expensive cards, I think for the main, Jackal King really is the most expensive card. It's about $8 currently right now. For the extra deck, it's insanely inexpensive. The most expensive card in the deck that used to be money was Electro Knight, and this card's $3 for the original rarity of this card. So I highly recommend you go and check that out, guys. Anyway, I really appreciate you watching my video. Like I said, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, comment below. Have a great day, everybody.